I'd like to call the Butte-Silver Bowl Council of Commissioners regular meeting for Wednesday, June 4th, 2025 to order. Clerk, could we please have roll call?
11 present, 1 absent.
11 present, 1 absent. Please note that Commissioner Boyle is absent from tonight's agenda. Commissioner Walker, could you lead us in the prayer and the pledge? Next, we'll move on to public comment on any items on the agenda tonight. So when you come up, please state your name, your address, and the item number that you'll be speaking on. And I think we're going to have some robust public comment tonight. So with that, I'm going to ask everyone to keep their comments to 3 minutes. I have a timer. This is not to limit public participation, but more to encourage it and give everybody their time. So if you'd like to come forward, please come up and have public comment on any item on the agenda tonight. Welcome. Right there. And then there's a button. There you go. And it's red. So you see it turned red, you're good.
Thank you. My name is Brittany Ferris. I live on 2920 Kossuth, Butte, Montana. I'm here to give a statement regarding a women's prison coming into Butte. Butte is beginning to grow and change in several positive aspects, I believe. I think 25 years ago, maybe this would be a viable option, but our mining is becoming to be robust again with finding a new copper vein underground. I grew up in a city where every single building uptown was boarded and shut. That is not the case anymore. There are signs that industries are interested in coming and investing in Butte. Certain industries such as the arts, the performance industries that I'm particularly concerned with, it's hard to convince them. Prison towns are not marketable for that. Some more specific things here. Additional strains on our court system and public defenders' offices, that brunt will be borne by Silver Bow County. We are already short on private attorneys in the area. I know this because I did work at a law office for a short time here in Butte. We would have to bear those additional costs. Prisons do not typically contract or buy goods from local businesses that in the cities they are included in. Most of the lucrative positions are recruited from outside the cities they are located in, meaning for most Butte residents, the jobs offered are lower wage with little room for upward mobility. Depending on how long a prisoner's sentence is, many families may move closer to be closer to their family members. Where is the available housing for such a large influx of people? Other small cities have also experienced major issues regarding water quality due to overburdened sewage and wastewater infrastructure. In addition, when built on ground with existing pollution problems, that can exacerbate the problem. Butte has, in the past, and continues to really remediate and make sure that our water quality stays good and continues to be better. I don't believe building a women's prison is going to help that issue as well. Let's see. And also, I'm not entirely completely informed on this subject, obviously, but governmental projects like this do not tend to pay much in county taxes. So those were just a few. I understand my time is short, but those were just a few of the concerns I have with a women's prison moving into town. We're growing, we're robust, we don't need that. We're building our own community, we're attracting other investors, other industries. Again, 25 years ago, this may have been a viable option. We have our mining, we have our entertainment, our arts, our real estate is booming, development is booming. We don't need a prison here. I understand that's not necessarily up to this board, but, you know, I hope that it gets passed along to the state or somewhere.
Ms. Ferris, your time is up, but thank you very much.
I did have sources. I wasn't just talking out here.
No,
Thank
you're
you
good.
very much.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Any other public comment on any item on the agenda tonight, please come forward, state your name, your address, and the item number you'd be speaking on.
Good evening, Commissioners, Chief Executive. My name is Mark Garf. I live at 1149 Antimony Street. I'm a resident, business owner, and I serve on the Butte-Silver Planning Board. I want to address some of the points raised in a recent Montana Standard article, which was in support of the proposed prison. First, it was argued that national research on prisons in states like Wisconsin may not apply to Butte, but in fact, this peer-reviewed study from across the country, including research analyzing 3,000 rural communities, show a consistent pattern. Communities that build prisons rarely see lasting economic growth, and I have sources for all this. Construction jobs are temporary. Firms from out of town and out of state bid on the work and often get it, and many full-time positions go to trained staff from outside the area. Second, the writer rightly notes that Butte faces serious economic challenges with a poverty rate of 16.1%, well above the state average. But we have to ask ourselves, will this prison help the people most in need in our community? The research suggests that it won't. Local residents, especially those without formal training, are often unable to access the jobs created. Employment usually goes to trained staff recruited from outside the community, while negative externalities like stigmatization, disinvestment, they remain local. Butte residents who might get an entry-level job at a prison face more challenges. Entry-level correctional staff are significantly more likely to leave the profession early due to high demands of the job, emotional stress, and low institutional support. Third, while $220 million for construction and 100 new jobs sounds like a sure bet, the data tells a different story. Prisons do not attract small business growth, they do not increase property values, and they often discourage more diverse forms of investment. Fourth, it was suggested that resistance to the project was driven by NIMBY sentiment. This isn't about geography, it's about vision. South Butte, like the rest of this great city, deserves long-term investment in education, housing, and meaningful employment. A prison doesn't offer those things. It redirects land and public resources away from the kind of development that empower communities. And lastly, if I can get my fingers to work. Lastly, I agree with the editorial writer that Butte has gambled before, sometimes with good outcomes, sometimes not, but a prison is not a safe bet. It's a short-term fix that risks locking Butte into a future of limited opportunity and institutional dependency. Let's invest in what builds communities, not what confines them. Let's make this decision with an eye not for short-term gains, but for long-term prosperity. Thank you. And I have sources cited that I could enter into the record if you'd like.
You can give that to. Thank you, Mr. Garf.
Thank you.
And any other public comment, please come forward, state your name and address.
Chris Pantano, 1207 West Platinum. I'll continue on. So good evening, Mr. Chief Executive, Commissioners. My name is Chris Pantano, and I'm a longtime resident here in Butte, speaking firmly against the proposed women's prison. I recently listened to Director Gutkin's presentation to this body in March. I'll be honest, I was pleasantly surprised by his transparency and candor, but I was a little disappointed by the lack of tough questioning that I thought he faced. Despite the DOC's legal authority, Director Gutkin made it clear that this facility only moves forward with local support, and that means that the decision is in somewhat belongs to us or you and not specifically Helena. He repeatedly framed the project as a win-win, but in my opinion, it's not a win-win. It's a win for him, it's probably a win for the DOC and potentially the Highlands College, but for Butte, I think it's a major loss. It's a long-term rebranding of Butte as a prison town and a burden that we shouldn't place on this community. or our children. The economic pitch is thin. Yes, it brings jobs, but correction jobs and state-funded spillover. Prison towns don't prosper, they stagnate. Property values decline, communities shrink inward. So I'd like to ask, how much economic development has the state prison brought to Deer Lodge? It's kind of the anchor of that town, and that town's been stuck for decades. Why not Anaconda? Representative John Fitzpatrick is the lead sponsor of the bill funding this prison. And if this facility is such a gift, why isn't he or his community demanding it in his own district? Instead, we're told this is an opportunity, as if it's being chosen for a tax-exempt facility that contributes no revenue, restricts land use, and reshapes our identity as some sort of prize. You all worked hard to remove the pre-release from Uptown, and I commend you all for that. But why would we now double down and expand our role as a hub for incarceration? Is that really the future we want? Do we want to become Montana's correction corridor? I'm not against rehabilitation, but inside city limits is not the place. This isn't a revitalization strategy. It's containment, and Butte has momentum now, and momentum that deserves to grow and not be boxed in. The truth is, the state sees Butte as convenient, but convenience is not justification. So I'd ask you, do you folks really want to be the ones remembered for turning Butte into a prison community? And as Director Gutkin stated, the ball is in your court. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vantano. Any other public comment on any item on the agenda tonight? Please come forward.
Good evening. My name's Shanna Adams. I live at 8102 US Highway 2. Chief Executive Gallagher, Council of Commissioners, I just want to thank you for giving everybody the opportunity to comment on the idea of a proposed women's prison in Butte. I don't even like saying it. I don't even like that it's in the paper. But I do appreciate the opportunity to give public comment. As far as I can tell, this has been the first opportunity to do that, other than the one presentation by the Department of Commerce, and that should kind of scare all of us, I think. I do think that this facility may be wanted in another community, which is wonderful. We should support that. I think it's pretty clear that this is not in line with the direction that Butte is going. And you've heard that from other folks here tonight. The kind of last thing I want to say really is just that I have heard from different people that the state can do whatever they want. That may legally be true, but citing a prison is a political decision, and the community needs to come together, and you all need to listen to your constituents, do your research, decide how you feel about this, and then stand up and make it known. I want this community to feel empowered, that we're in charge of the direction and the vision for this place, and we need to make that known. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Adams. Any other public comment on any item on the agenda tonight?
Good evening. Dan Janosko, 251 East Badger Lane, Butte, Montana. Again, commenting on the women's prison, not to reiterate everything that was said here, but I have been looking into different studies and things of that nature, particularly focusing on eastern coal towns that have lost their mining. There has been a push to increase prisons in those areas, and all of those areas have stagnated and continue to see trouble. Everything that has been cited here has been followed up in continuous studies of continuous issues. You know, they're boasting 100 jobs. Roughly 20% of those jobs are not, or what go to the local populace. As far as the tax income, that land can't be taxed. We're not getting extra in there. We already have an infrastructure for 120,000 people with only 40 using it. We're trying to keep that up. That's just going to add more weight onto that, more use. You know, as far as economic development, that's right outside of our TED district, which is an industrial area that we're trying to build up. We have the Amazon warehouse going in there, other industries, things of that nature. And we're going to be putting a prison right next to that. It's going to deter a lot of people wanting to put their businesses or develop a business further than what it is already. So without taking up anybody else's time, thank you and have a good evening.
Thank you, Mr. Janosko. Is there any other public comment on any item on the agenda tonight?
Hi, my name is Jennifer Fry. I live at 1133 East Delaware. I was just going to come and listen tonight, so I don't have any notes, so this is just off the cuff. But I was inspired by everything I heard. I wanted to share my husband and I moved here a year ago, almost to the day. We're property owners here. We moved from Phoenix, Arizona. And when people would ask us why Butte, you know, it was really about access to the outdoors, and because we saw the vision that was spoken about earlier, that people who have lived here a long time have started to see to come to life in exciting ways. As an outsider, you know, I was seeing the vision that was possible in this town, and it was really rooted in the arts and the small businesses and things like that that we wanted to come here and experience and enjoy. So, you know, the prospect of something like this really makes us reevaluate our decision and if this was the right choice for us. And I think that other people who are in our boat will be feeling the same way. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fry. Is there any other public comment on any item on the agenda tonight? Please come forward, state your name, your address.
Hi, good evening. I'm Kim Walsh-Doherty at 317 Janey Road in Butte. And I'm here to talk about the women's prison here in Butte. And this is going to be just short and sweet. I just want to talk about some of the slogans we hear when we think about Butte. We are the can-do city. Butte America, Butte tough, Butte rats. I think when we think of all these sayings, we all show a sense of pride and individuality with our great city. And the term prison city is not the label that would leave the legacy as a generational Butte family, and all of you would be proud of. So I would just ask that all of you stay Butte tough and stick together, and please don't allow this to happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Doherty. Is there any other public comment on any item on the agenda tonight? Please come forward, state your name, your address, and what you'd like to speak about.
Hi, hi, Chief Executive and Council. I'm glad to see you guys are here tonight. I'd just like to say a few comments about the Article 31, I think it is. But I agree with everything. These guys have really hit some good points on their talks tonight. And I'd just like to say that I agree that, you know, it's a good thing for the Uptown Butte that the pre-release is going to go down there and be where it's at. But I don't know how long ago it was. We had a meeting at the VOTEC out there, or, you know, I think it was the Copper King actually, and it was voted down, no prison. We didn't want a prison, and they were talked about that then. And so the majority of Butte does not want a prison, and that speaks volumes. But I mean, I think that, you know, we're going in the positive direction. I didn't think in my lifetime we'd see the pit that was there filled in, and now you have all that construction. We're making good gains forward. I mean, having this is going to be like 20 steps backwards, in my opinion. And I think you need to think twice. I think the council needs to help these guys write a letter. And this is politics. And we need to tell them, hey, not here. Put it where, you know, there's other locations that aren't that far that have this sort of thing where that's all they have. And I think that needs to be looked at and somehow worded in an efficient way that they'll understand, you know, this is where you should be. But with that said, thank you guys.
Thank you, Jed. Can you state your name and
I did.
address for the record?
Excuse me. My name's James Jed Hoops. I'm at 2125 Fat Jack Road, Butte, Montana. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Hoops.
I'm going to live right by it. See,
Yeah.
been there since 1965.
Thank you, Mr. Hoops. Is there any other public comment on any item on the agenda tonight? Seeing none? We have 4 letters to read into the record. I don't know if we since COVID, we don't read those into the record. We just enter them into the record. So that's you know, since we've come back into live. So we'll just enter those into the record. There's four letters that are entered to go into the record. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Moving on, we'll move on to the approval of the minutes from the May 21st, 2025 regular meeting. Commissioner Morgan.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive. At this time, I'd make a motion that we approve the May 21st, 2025 regular meeting minutes.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the May 21st, 2025 minutes. Is there anything on the question? Could commissioners please vote? And would anyone like to change their vote? Clerk, please record the vote.
11 yea, 0 nay.
11 yea, 0 nay, motion passes. We've got a couple items that are not addressed on tonight's agenda. Communication number 2025-313 and communication number 2025-314. Commissioner Morgan.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive. As you stated, we do have two communications that have been asked to be added to tonight's agenda. Keep in mind, these two communications will only be added to the agenda and discussed if the motion that I'm about to make passes. In accordance with the provisions of Rule 7 of the Rules of Order of the Council of Commissioners of the City and County of Butte-Silver Bow, State of Montana, the council hereby finds that an emergency condition exists which requires the council rules be suspended to allow for final passage on first reading for communication number 2025-313. This particular communication is not for final reading, it's just to be discussed. The reason for the suspension is as follows. Mark Neary, Butte-Silver Bow Public Works Director, is requesting council's authorization to submit the following request, communication 2025-313, authorizing Butte-Silver Bow County to sign a change order to contract the 2024-588 for the molten water treatment plant filter replacement project. This particular contract needs to be approved or disapproved before the next regular meeting. So that's the reason for the suspension of that, to add this to the agenda tonight, and it missed the original deadline. Based upon the foregoing and to allow this matter to be acted upon, the council finds that an emergency existed to add it to tonight's agenda. And then before I make that motion, I'll talk about the next communication that also in accordance with provisions of Rule 7 of the Rules of Order of the Council of Commissioners of the county or City and County of Butte-Silver Bow, the council hereby finds that an emergency condition which requires that the council rule be suspended to allow for the communication to be added to tonight's agenda. Communication number 2025-314. The reason for the suspension, Karen Malogny, Butte-Silver Bow Health Department, is requesting authorization from the council to submit the following request. Communication 2025-314, authorizing Butte-Silver Bow County to sign a contract with the Montana Department of Public Health and Human Services for the Mobile Crisis Response Program services and operational costs not otherwise covered by Medicaid. This contract is up to the amount of $362,185, and the contract terms are from January 22nd, 2024 to June 30th of 2026. Based upon the foregoing and to allow this matter to be acted on, the council hereby finds that an emergency exists which requires a suspension of the rules to add council communication 2025-314 to tonight's agenda. This communication also has a date that they are asking that it be signed before our next regular meeting, hence why it is being asked to be entered onto tonight's agenda. So at this time, I would make a motion to approve the suspension of the rules to add council communication 2025-313 and council communication 2025-314 at the June 4th, 2025 regular meeting.
We have a motion and a second to add communication number 2025-313 and communication number 2025-314 to tonight's agenda. Is there anything on the question? Commissioner Fisher.
Thank you, Chief Executive Gallagher.
I have no problem with suspending the rules for these two communications. What I find is kind of inordinary is these were not even emailed to us, or we had no notifications whatsoever that I can find in my emails or on my agenda. And generally, when we suspend the rules, we have some type of a letter coming from Public Works or the Health Department telling us what the deal is. And, you know, I have no problem with it, but $362,000 for the Health and Human Services for Medicaid, that's kind of a big issue right now, statewide, nationwide, and everything. So just a comment I'm making, I have no problem. I'm not going to, you know, vote against this or anything, but I just think it's, in all transparency, we should be notified of these prior to 7:50 on council night. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Fisher. And Commissioner Morgan.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive. Commissioner Fisher, I agree. I don't know what the breakdown was. I could ask our council secretary or county attorney Enruth if these were provided early enough to be forwarded or if they were last minute.
Commissioner Morgan, County Attorney Enruth.
Chief Executive Gallagher, Commissioner Morgan, they were provided late yesterday. I was in court, everybody else was in court, and all the way through today, so they got done in the small amounts of time that we had in between being provided them yesterday and what we had on our calendar already for today, which would be my, probably the best answer to say that's why you didn't have them in advance. It was, they got fit into where we could fit them into today.
Thank you, County Attorney Enruth. Is there any other comments or questions of commissioners? Seeing none, could commissioners please vote? And would anyone like to change their vote? Clerk, please record the vote.
9 yea, 2 nay.
9 yea, 2 nay, motion passes. Next, we'll move on to the Chief Executive's report. This week, we've had a couple of proclamations. We did a proclamation on Monday first for the Week of Compassion, working with the Butte Rescue Mission, asking for people to donate their time or goods or just to work with the people in need in our community and, you know, share that compassion. And so every year, first week of June, we always do that. And so I just encourage people to look inside themselves, volunteer time and effort or monetarily or food or whatever you need to do to help support those most in need. The second one is I was proud to do the Pride Proclamation on Monday as well. Although we do not raise the flag per the state new law that was put into place, we still are able to do our proclamation here. And it's not about just identifying one group. It's about the non-discrimination ordinance that this body found that was necessary for Butte-Silver that identifies that everybody should be treated fairly, equally, and with you know, justice within our community. And so we did that proclamation on Monday as well. And you know, the state law may prohibit us from putting up flags, but the flag doesn't identify the community, and that doesn't make who the community is. And Butte, as tough as we are, the one thing that we do extremely well is that we take care of our own, and it doesn't matter who you are, who you love. It's important that we continue to have that strength within our community. So with that, I appreciate everybody today too with their comments about the women's prison. I've had some very big concerns about a women's prison locating here in Butte, and I kind of want to talk a little bit about CCCS going out into the Acadia building and the relocation of that and the difference between CCCS and a women's prison. CCCS has been part of our community and has worked with rehabilitation of offenders that are going to go back into the community. But the one thing that the CCCS does is they have people that are working in our community. They go out, they work within many of our service industry jobs, and without them, truthfully, some of our local businesses would struggle with that. And so comparing the prison to CCCS, is not really a fair comparison. But just that CCCS has been an active business, nonprofit business in our community for many years and has done well for our community and employed a lot of people and kept people in our community for many years. The other thing about the women's prison was identified in here. They don't pay taxes. They don't pay into the local taxes. They are impact to local infrastructure. That's, all those things would have to be identified in here. It would bring construction jobs in, but it would also, I've spoken with people, it could hurt the Montana State Prison as well, because many of our guards live here in Butte. So as we see in our jail and within the state prison, it's hard to employ many of those people that are there as well. And so the impact that would have to try to get employment. I also want to speak a little bit about John Fitzpatrick from Anaconda Deer Lodge. He has been a proponent of the funding to this, but I will speak that he is trying, his push is to try to create jobs and industry in southwest Montana. His intention is not to hurt any community. I've talked to him many times, and so the talk about potentially out in Anaconda, there's still sites that are in play on this, and I think that our voices are being heard at the state level. I'm hearing rumors that they may be not looking so closely at Butte now. For one, the $50 million that they said relocate Highlands College to Montana Tech. Although there's budget authority, they didn't put money in there as well, so it's not there. And so some of those things that we're most concerned about, I have a lot of concerns about what this could do to our community. I think that as many people spoke today about that, it's something that we need to really take into account. The state on their own property can do what they want, but that doesn't mean that the community doesn't have to be heard. And so I appreciate everybody coming out and talking about that tonight. So with that, more to come. As we know more, we'll report out to this body and to the public as well. And so, as somebody said in here, that it needs to be located somewhere, but it's important that we look at where the best location is for a state prison is for everybody. So with that, I also want to talk a little bit about EPA. I handed out a letter to the commissioners today. Cyrus Western from EPA Region 8 Administrator, he has reached back out, responded to our letter that we sent to him. I'm encouraged by that, and he also is the person that we sent our appeal letter to, that was mandated that we send that through that for our community change grant. So we sent that letter in to him as well. He has extended an invitation for me to go down and have a meeting with him. I am going to take that meeting and go to Denver and meet with EPA Region 8 Director Cyrus Western. I'm going on Monday to meet with them. I want this body to know, and when I come back, I will report back out to this body. It's just a one-on-one meeting between him and I. I think it's incredibly important for us to create that relationship. I'm encouraged that Mr. Western has reached back out both by this letter and also by acknowledging our letter on the community change grant. That's encouraging. I'm not saying that it's going to change anything, but it's encouraging that he's responding to us, and I think it's the fact that he offered an invitation for me to come down and meet with him. I think that's very encouraging to be able to go down and do that. So I look forward to having that meeting with Mr. Western. The last thing I'm going to touch on is the budget and timeline. So we're going to continue on our path where we're going to submit our budget to this commission here, but the timeline of what the legislature has put on for the state and some of the things that they're going to do, it may extend when we're actually able to get our certified values and understand what our mill value and all those other things are going to be. So there's more to come on that. We're going to try to keep our timeline as tight as we can and get it in front of you. We'll get our proposed budget to you, but knowing what the mill value and what everything is going on with certified values and everything else, That's yet to be determined because this is a reevaluation, recertification of properties, all those things. This is the 2-year process, and so there's more to come on that. So just so you know that Finance and Budget and myself, we were working hard, working with all our department directors to get that budget to you on time, but understand we may not know the full impact of what the mill value is going to be coming forward. So kind of a lengthy Chief Executive's report, not normally that this long for you guys tonight, but I think it was incredibly important. And I do appreciate everybody that came and spoke about the women's prison. Again, it's important for us to voice our concerns to the state and let them know what we're doing. So with that, I'll close the Chief Executive's report, and we'll move on to Section 1, bid openings, public hearings, and/or presentations. We have 1 public hearing and 3 presentations tonight. So do we have a proof of publication for the public hearing? County Attorney Enruth.
Chief Executive Gallagher, Commission, yes, we have proof of publication.
Thank you, County Attorney Enruth. We have communication number 2025-262, Lisa Carey, Emergency Management Director, requesting Council of Commissioners authorization to schedule a public hearing on June 4th, 2025 to adopt the 2024 Montana Western Region Butte-Silver County Hazard Mitigation Plan. Welcome, Ms. Carey.
Thank you, Chief Executive Gallagher, members of council. For the record, my name is Lisa Carey, Emergency Management Manager for Butte-Silver County. I'm here this evening to respectfully request that the council adopt by resolution the 2024 Western Montana Region Butte-Silver County Hazard Mitigation Plan update. This plan has been reviewed and approved by both Montana Disaster and Emergency Services and the Federal Emergency Management Agency. As you may recall, detailed information regarding this hazard mitigation plan was provided during the May 21st Committee of the Whole Council meeting when I gave a presentation. Your adoption of this resolution will ensure that Butte-Silver remains eligible for federal disaster mitigation funding, and it affirms our community's ongoing commitment to reducing risks from natural and man-made hazards. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Carey. Is there any questions of commissioners? Seeing none, I'll open the public hearing. First call for proponents. Second call for proponents.
My name is Reddy Frost, and I'm in favor of this because it's a good idea. We should update our hazard mitigation plans, especially with hopefully getting that community hub someday. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Frost. Is it third call for proponents? Next, we'll move on to opponents. First call for opponents. Second call for opponents. Third and final call for opponents. I'll close the public hearing. Next, we'll move on to presentations. Our first presentation is item number 2, communication number 2025-245. Kelly Sullivan, BLDC Director, requesting Council of Commissioners authorization to schedule a presentation for June 4th, 2025 to give a report regarding COVID assistance loans in default out of the Anaconda ARCO Loan Fund. Welcome, Ms. Sullivan.
Good evening, thank you. Chief Executive Gallagher and members of council, I came before you 2 months ago requesting approval to write off a couple of Anaconda ARCO loans that were in default, and I received that authorization from you. At that time, we thought that the names of the borrowers were confidential, and I've since learned from Director Hassler with the budget office here at Butte-Silver that because those are public funds, those names need to be made public into the record. So the first borrower who defaulted on $8,254.58 was It's Greek to Me, owned by Michael Wyndham. The second was in the amount of $5,962.97, Table Mountain LLC, doing business as North 46, owned by Casey McConnell. And the third one, which we did not get approval to write off because he at the last moment paid us in full, was the Copper Tea, owned by Mark Huntington. And Mr. Huntington came in at the last moment and paid the $4,300 that he owed. So I'm just here to enter into the record those names.
Thank you, Ms. Sullivan. Are there any questions of commissioners? Commissioner Thatcher.
Thank you, Chief Executive Gallagher. Director Sullivan, I have a quick question. So I understand that we granted the approval 2 months ago, like you said. However, how I do also understand it from the Budget and Finance Office is that the specific motions need to be made with the entities' names. And so are you planning on coming back, and maybe County Attorney Joyce can correct me, or I think Budget and Finance Office. I mean, gosh, honestly, it's in my brain, I'm sorry. County Attorney Enruth, or maybe Ms. Woods from the Budget and Finance Office, would you come back and submit a new communication so that we can do it that way?
Yes. Chief Executive Gallagher, Commissioner Thatcher, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions of commissioners? Seeing none, we'll move on to the next presentation. So this is item number 3, communication number 2025-246. Kelly Sullivan, BLDC Director, requesting Council of Commissioners authorization to schedule a presentation on June 4th to bring the following bylaw change to the council as it impacts the chief executive's appointment to the said board. Ms. Sullivan.
Thank you, Chief Executive and members of the council. The BLDC board has approved a bylaw amendment, and we are seeking approval from this board as well to change our bylaws to add a paragraph that's stating, well, our joint venture contract is active, and that being the joint venture between BLDC and Headwaters, one seat currently under the purview of the chief executive be given to the sitting president of Headwaters, whomever that may be at any given time. So currently, the chief executive has 4 seats on our board. One is for the chief executive himself. One is, in this case, for Mr. Morgan. One is for our Anaconda ARCO representative. And then there is one other seat. And we're asking to take that one other seat and have it be specifically for the president of the Headwaters board to have that seat on the BLDC board.
Thank you, Ms. Sullivan. I'd like to just kind of state a little bit of how this came about. So because we're a joint venture and the 2 entities are working together, currently the way it sits, the Headwaters president doesn't have any kind of say with the BLDC, and the connection between the 2 is incredibly important. I didn't see a loss of a seat for Butte-Silver Bow here as being that impactful as it is to the relationship with the Headwaters, because those are the communities that we partner with in Southwest Montana that make up the Headwaters board. So they consulted with me. I agreed that I thought that Butte-Silver Bow is represented well with the chief executive, with the chairman of the board, and with the appointment that the chief executive appoints to for the Anaconda ARCO, or the Anaconda funds that are available. So that allows us to have 3 representatives on there. So I think the relationship to the board is critically important, and that's why I agreed to this. Is there any questions? Commissioner Fisher.
Thank you, Chief Executive Gallagher. Thank you, Kelly. Appreciate you coming here, bringing this before us. I am not totally opposed to this, but I see a little conflict here that don't set well with me. I think the Chief Executive, being that we financially support the BLDC, I think that the Chief Executive, whomever it is in the county, should have the authority to appoint that person rather than Headwaters, because Headwaters and BLDC work together on a lot of things. But to me, you're too close to the action. It's like being the manager and the salesman at the same time, and I don't think that works very good for me. So I'm looking for input from other commissioners, but I'd have to be sold on this a little bit before I could approve it. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Fisher. Commissioner Shea.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive. Thank you, Kelly, for being here. A couple of questions, and then you can answer. Sure. One of you can answer. First of all, I assume that there will be another communication asking us to approve the bylaw change. Okay. And then I think that other seat won't be appointed by the president of Headwaters. It will be the president of Headwaters. Is that correct? Okay.
That's correct.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Commissioner Shea. So, yeah, that's the one thing about that we talk about, that the partnership between the two, and that's why, you know, with the 3 representatives, and then also understand that Butte-Silver Bow has representation on the Headwaters Board as well, as I'm on the Headwaters Board, and then appointee of Community Development Director Burns is also on that, representing Butte-Silver Bow on the Headwaters Board as well. So understand that we have representation as well there. Is there any other questions of commissioners? Commissioner O'Leary.
Thank you, Chief Executive Gallagher. Just one clarification. What is the current makeup of the board? Total seats and excuse me, total seats, how many are, you said 4 seats currently appointed by the Chief Executive, and then how many seats and what are those folks?
Thanks, Commissioner O'Leary. I'll say that the 4 that we currently have would be in 2 appointees by Butte-Silver Bow. The chief executive is automatically a part of it, and then the chairman of the board is automatically a part of it. And then I'll let Ms. Sullivan give the makeup of the board.
The other 15, Chief Executive Gallagher, commissioners, the makeup of the board is 15 persons in total. The chief executive, the chairman of this board, the Anaconda Arco loan rep, who is appointed by the chief executive. One other person who is appointed by the chief executive, who in this case just happens to be the president of the Headwaters Board currently, and then 11 other members from the community.
Any other, Commissioner O'Leary?
So just a clarification, thank you. Those other members of the board are appointed by the Headwaters staff or the BLDC staff, is that correct?
Commissioner O'Leary, Ms. Sullivan.
Chief Executive Gallagher, Commissioner O'Leary, those are appointed by the board. By the board of directors appoints new members as they come on. Nominations are made, discussions are had, and then they are appointed, the new members.
Any other follow-up, Commissioner O'Leary?
I guess my question, and sort of to Commissioner Fisher's point, is it's 15 members, 4 are from Butte-Silver Bow, and we're asking for one of the 4 to be sort of handed back to BLDC. I don't have the budget in front of me here, how much we're supporting BLDC, but it would be nice to have a robust conversation about, you know, that support and how that transfers to board seats.
Thank you, Commissioner O'Leary. I think we could come back and give a report on what that financial obligation is to this body. Commissioner Fisher.
Once again, thank you, Chief Executive Gallagher. Thank you, Kelly. And like I said, I need to be sold on this a little bit because to me, a 15-member board is way too many. I mean, we got way too many people on that anyhow. When you got 15 people appointing most of the board, and I think BLDC, Butte Local Development Corporation, local development is really a lot to do with the chief executive position. You know, I think we give, what, $3,300 a month or something like that. But I think local development has a lot to do with the chief executive. And I don't see it being a good idea to take the power away from the chief executive appointing 4 people to a 15-member board and having the other 15 members appointing the other, 11 to match it. I think we're taking a lot of power out of the hands of the chief executive, who kind of relates to us as the commission. I'm having a tough time swallowing this one because I think the board's too weighted one way, and I think when we get an extra Headwaters person in there, I think between Headwaters and BLDC, it's going to wash out a little bit of what the chief executive has to do and a little bit about what the council has to do, because we got the chairman and we got the chief executive, and then the Anaconda Arco loan fund member. I mean, that's a at-large bid pretty much from the chief executive. So I'm having a tough time with this, and I look forward to a little more conversation, and maybe when the item comes up on agenda to vote on, we can, visit and make a decision. But excuse me, at this time, the presentation is great, but I just think we're wheeling too much power to a 15-member board by only having a couple of council people on it. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Fisher. Is there any, Commissioner Morgan?
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive. I'll jump in here just on a couple of things. So I've been on the board a couple of times through my tenure on the council. And the 4-person committee from Butte-Silver Bow side, you know, as it was stated, one of them right now is already the president of Headwaters. So it really won't dilute anything more than it has. You know, your council liaison, if you will, is myself that goes to the meetings. And so as far as voting goes, if you lose one, it's not going to be detrimental to a 15-person board. But I can tell you that in the past, having a 15-person board, which is probably one of the biggest boards that I've been on, and I've been on a lot of them, it really does show a representation of the community. And I think that's the key to BLDC, is to make sure that the decisions that board makes isn't from the political side of either Butte-Silver Bow or of one entity. I think it's important to make sure that we have the businesses represented. I can name the members that are on the board that represent either businesses or organizations. And I think it does provide a good input of the community as a whole, rather than just a small section of the community. So just some food for thought.
Thank you, Commissioner Morgan. Commissioner Callahan.
Thank you, Chief Executive Gallagher. You know, Jim, I think your points are very valid, but I don't think we lose any leverage with the council, because we still have to approve that money. Is it every 2 or 3 years that we? Every year.
Every year.
So if we're not happy with it, we just don't have to approve the money next year. So we still hold the purse strings there.
Thank you, Commissioner Callahan.
Thank you.
Commissioner Anderson.
Thank you very much, Chief Executive. Thank you very much, Kelly Sullivan, for being here. I can kind of see both points to it. I like the idea of the 15-person board. I think it does bring an awful lot of diversity to the group, and I really like the idea of the Headwaters person being there. They do operate overall through several different counties, and I hope that some of those counties are represented on the other 11 members of the board when the board comes together to select new members. I think one way to make this easier would be for the Chief Executive to retain the 4 members, have another member being the president of Headwaters, which is a great idea, and have the board as a general pick and choose the other 10 as one term or another expires. I guess it would be the 14 or 13, however. But I do appreciate including Headwaters, because like I do say, they do represent other outside interests other than expressly Butte-Silver Bow, and I think having that diversity helps. I think having that outside with the neighboring committees can help bring and grow our community. So good work on that, and I welcome the communication and the discussion moving forward on this. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Anderson. Any other discussion? Commissioner Shea.
Just really quickly, thank you, Mr. Chief Executive. There was a time that the local development organizations all operated in silos, and that's not true anymore. The joint venture between BLDC and Headwaters it has really been a very big benefit to not just Butte, but also to Southwest Montana. And so I believe that there should be some crossover with that president of Headwaters, and there's crossover. I'm looking at your list of the boards right now. There's crossover from BLDC on the Headwaters board as well. And they operate a little bit differently, and they have different missions. So I would just ask everybody's entitled to their own opinion. I've been able to have a little look behind the curtain a little bit, because I worked at Headwaters for a little while, and I was I did a short stint on the board. Yeah, I'd like everybody to look at it with an open mind.
Thank you, Commissioner Shea. Any other discussion of commissioners? Seeing none? Thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you.
Moving on to item number 4, communication number 2025-265, Mark Neary, Public Works Director, requesting Council of Commissioners authorization to schedule a presentation on June 4th, 2025 regarding the countywide maintenance district work plan update for fiscal year 2025 and fiscal year 2026. Welcome, Director Neary.
Thank you, Chief Executive Gallagher, Commissioners. For the record, I'm Mark Neary, Public Works Director. I'll try and brighten up the mood in here and talk about snow, ice, sand, and de-icer. So, as everybody knows, in 2018, the Council of Commissioners voted to have a single roads maintenance district, and part of the ordinances is I have to give an update every year by June. The snow and winter maintenance, the road division is in charge of that, and we attack it on our primary routes, our secondary routes, and our tertiary routes if it's all possible. Sometimes we get a lot of questions about, why do you plow it this way or why do you plow it that way? And our crews go out early in the morning, just open up the roads the best they can to get traffic and school buses through. Then they'll go back and they'll push all the snow to the center of the road and pick it up and take it to our snow storage sites. We do try and get into neighborhoods when we can. It doesn't happen quite often. Last year we got into a few more than we usually do just because we had a lighter winter. But that's what we do is we do the primary, secondary, and then tertiary. And if the storm keeps coming, we focus on the primary routes. These are some of our costs for salt and sand over the past 10 years. And you can see in 24 and 25, our costs were way down. We had a mild winter, which also we'll kind of show in a later slide with our potholes. Whoops. So this map here just shows our primary, secondary, and then the primary red, secondary green, and blue are the MDT. They're the routes that MDT maintains throughout our town. This is a list of the primary routes. This is the secondary routes, and this is the MDT routes. So in 24-25, we used around 155 tons of salt, 786 tons of liquid de-icer. The total cost was $140,000. 65 miles of roads we plowed, 5,754 man hours. Labor costs were $306. Equipment costs were $161. In our flushing and sweeping, we swept 285 miles of roads. We flushed 90 miles, 230 man hours of flushing, 230 man hours spent flushing, 335 man hours spent sweeping. Total labor is 143. Total equipment was 120. We have a little video there, action packed, but our potholes are a combination of, the weather, pavement deterioration, and road deterioration. But what happens is water gets through the cracks, and then it freezes, thaws, and then buckles the asphalt, and then it goes away. Durapatching is a beneficial way that we can go because we can do it year-round. If we waited for hot asphalt, we'd have a short window, and we wouldn't get near the potholes patch that we need to. Since January 1st, we've done 2,086 potholes. From July 1st to May 6th, we've done 5,003, 1,365 man hours. Labor costs were $66,000, equipment was $20, and materials was $37. These are the list of potholes back to 2016, and as you can see, we're getting less potholes. This is a map. The picture on the left was last year's report of pothole, and the one on the right is this year's. It's gone down considerably. This is report of pothole. This is on our website. You can go right to this. It goes into our website. It goes onto a map. Our guys that run the Durapatchers have a tablet. It goes onto their tablet when they repair it. they take it off, and then I believe a notification goes to the people that report it, I think. I'm not positive on that. We have 131 miles of rural roads that we maintain, 624 man-hours, 30,000 in labor, 22,000 in equipment costs. Our traffic control and street striping, the prices up above are for last year. This year, $20,000 usually goes to MDT. MDT is who we pay to do our striping. $73,000 in paint, and $3,703 in meltdowns. That's for the crosswalks and stop bars. We've been doing quite a bit more chip sealing. Chip sealing just gives you a few extra more years of wear on the asphalt. We usually pave, and then within 2 or 3 years we chip it again. It puts a sealer down, and then the chips, 3/8 chips, go onto the road, and we'll be able to wear those off before we need to go in and do another mill fill. The total that we spent up to May 1st or May 31st, 25, was $1,025,000. Our proposed winter maintenance for next year is to plow 65 miles of primary and secondary routes. We'll plow tertiary neighborhoods when we are able, and de-ice and sand primary and secondary routes. Our estimated winter work plan is estimated labor costs are $300,000. Estimated equipment costs is $300,000. We'll still have the same 131 miles of rural roads to maintain. The estimated cost for labor is 17, equipment is 15. For our total forecasted for fiscal year 26, we're $1.7 million. These are the streets that will be chip sealed this summer. And with that, I'll take any questions. Thank you.
Any questions of commissioners? Commissioner O'Neill.
Thank you, Director Neary. Thanks for the presentation. I have a couple questions. On any given snow day, when it's snowing really, really bad, how many trucks are available to plow the roads?
Commissioner,
6 in the morning.
Okay. Commissioner O'Neill, Director Neary.
Chief Executive Gallagher, Commissioner O'Neill, we have 3 graders go out. I believe we run 5 large plow trucks, plus we have 4 or 5 smaller 1-ton trucks with plows on them with sanders in the back.
Follow-up, Commissioner O'Neill.
Thank you, Chief Executive. Thank you, Director Neary. The flushing, or actually not the flushing, the sweeping that goes around all the time, sweeping up, clean up. What impact does that have for the maintenance of the streets? You know what? I mean, I love it when they're doing it. I'm just curious. I get asked this question all the time. Why are they always, it's raining out, they're cleaning up the roads. What do I tell my people when they tell me I got to quit giving them your number? So,
Commissioner O'Neill, Director Neary.
Chief Executive Gallagher, Commissioner O'Neill, the main thing that we're picking up is the sand that we put down, throughout the winter. And when it's raining, it's a better, we don't have to run the water on the sweepers as much. Sometimes when it's a little cooler, we can't run it because it'll freeze, so a little bit of morning frost actually helps. But we try and pick up all the sand that we put down through the winter. And there is a lot of run-on of sediment that we try and pick up also.
Commissioner O'Neill, too, I just wanted to add to that, too, that I think is an important part. A lot of people say, why are we flushing the streets if we're in water restrictions and stuff? And it's incredibly important that people know that we use affluent, that it's not treated water that is going through our system. It comes out of Metro Sewer. It's treated. It's safe for people there, but it isn't consumable, and we use that water to flush streets with. Director Neary.
Correct.
Commissioner Thatcher. Oh, sorry. I'll come back to you.
Thank you. On the sweeping of the streets, I actually had somebody call me. How do we notify residents that we are planning to sweep the streets so as they can move the car? I had somebody ask me about it today, actually.
Commissioner Thatcher, Director Neary.
Chief Executive Gallagher, Commissioner Thatcher, I know we post it uptown, but I'm not sure if we do it in the neighborhoods. I can find that out for you, though.
Okay. Thank you, Director Neri. Any follow-up, Commissioner O'Neill?
Thank you, Chief Executive. One last question, Mark, is the Durapatcher. How many Durapatchers do we have?
Commissioner O'Neill, Director Neri.
Chief Executive Gallagher, Commissioner O'Neill, 2.
Thank you.
Commissioner Morgan.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive. Director Neary, I don't know if you had anything to do with this, but just take credit for it because I think it's good. Thank you for the turn arrow going north on Montana Street. That's all I'm going to say.
Thank you, Commissioner Morgan.
You're welcome.
Commissioner O'Leary.
Thank you, Chief Executive Gallagher. Director Neary, first question is if you could send us a copy of this presentation to the Commissioner email, that'd be great, just so we have it, go through it individually. And then you had a line item on there about maintenance for rural roads. Did that line item include both grading of rural roads and maintenance of rural pavement?
Commissioner O'Leary, Director Neri.
Chief Executive Gallagher, Commissioner O'Leary, yes.
Commissioner Anderson.
Thank you very much, Chief Executive. Thank you very much, Mr. Neri, for being here today. You mentioned that we have 2 DuraPatch machines. How often are they running per week? How many hours and about how many potholes can you fill on average per week with those?
Commissioner Anderson, Director Neri.
Chief Executive Gallagher, Commissioner Anderson, I have to get a calculator and divide up the 5,000 since January 1st. I'm not positive that I know exactly how many they do, but when the Durapatchers, there's always one running, but sometimes we do have 2 if we have the people freed up.
And
Commissioner Anderson, follow up.
What are the weather restrictions for that? I know like with asphalt, it has to be between X and Y temperature. Too cold, it's not going to stick. Too hot, it's going to melt and not work. So does the DuraPatch, I seem to remember that you could use it a lot more, it was a lot more forgiving with the weather and everything, if that was correct.
Commissioner Anderson, Director Neri.
Chief Executive Gallagher, Commissioner Anderson, that is correct. We try and do it year round. If a pothole is full of standing water, it won't do it. But most of the time, even if the weather's freezing, we can still get it to stick and hold up.
Okay, thank you. I would like to say, looking at that pothole map, it's a beautiful sight to see a lot of that green disappear, and if we could get even more of that disappearing, I know that there'd be a lot of happy people, and I'll be sure to make sure that they are well aware of the feature to plug and play the potholes in there, get some of them in my neighborhood cleaned up. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Anderson. I will say that it's important for us to all, when people ask about it, just refer them to the report of pothole because they do address those immediately. Well, I shouldn't say immediately, but expeditiously as soon as they can. And so a lot of times people will call and say, and I have no problem with forwarding on the communication, but it's one more step if they just go directly to it. So if we can encourage people to go directly to it, it works a lot better. So anyhow, any other questions of commissioners? Thank you, Director Neri, for the presentation today.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to, are we good? Okay. Section 2, consent agenda, A1 through 4, and B1 through, how many do we have? 1 through 34, right? 1 through 34, and then with the addition of communication number, I got to find my notes again. 2025. Right, we'll address them individually afterwards. Okay. Are there any friendly amendments and/or segregations? Commissioner Morgan.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive. I'd like to segregate number 34, communication 2025-312.
Okay. That's item number 34, communication number 2025-312. Are there any other, Commissioner O'Leary?
Thank you, Chief Executive. I'd like to segregate item number 31, Communication 2025-309.
That's number 31, communication number 2025-309. Are there any other friendly amendments and or segregations? Commissioner Anderson.
Thank you, Chief Executive. Number 7, communication 25285.
That is item number 7, communication number 2025-285. Are there any other friendly amendments and or segregations? Seeing none, Commissioner Morgan.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive. At this time, I'll make a motion that we approve Section 2, the consent agenda, A, the committee reports 1 through 4, B, communications 1 through 34, with the exclusion of number 7, 2025-285, number 31, 2025-301, and number 34, 2025-312.
We have a motion and a second to approve tonight's consent agenda. Is there anything on the question? Could commissioners please vote? And would anyone like to change their vote? Clerk, please record the vote.
11 yea, 0 nay.
11 yea, 0 nay, motion passes. Moving to item number 7, communication number 2025-285, Selena Pankovich, Butte, Montana, requesting Council of Commissioners authorization to host the 2025 season of music on Main Street, Uptown Butte, on Thursday evenings. Commissioner Anderson.
Thank you very much, Chief Executive. I just mainly wanted to segregate this for an opportunity to speak on this event. It's been running the past few years. It's been a great economic boon to the Uptown, especially that business corridor. I know that all of the businesses see a benefit of it. They really enjoy it. The community members really enjoy it. And it's a great opportunity, like so many people were speaking earlier today in the public comment section on Communication 31 on the prison. You know, these events are what make Butte so special, and having these throughout the year for all the families and everything. So I am excited that this is happening. There's also a whole list of other events on the agenda that I could have segregated to speak about as well, but I hope everybody will take a look at these. There's going to be movies up at the original, again, a few events at the original. Big Brothers and Sisters and other groups are holding a lot of events, so I'm glad to see the participation and the things for families to do and everyone to get out and enjoy Montana. So hopefully the weather will be nice, and I hope Selena has a great mix of fabulous artists again this year for everybody to enjoy. Thank you. And with that being said, I'd make a motion to concur with 285 and place it on file.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to concur and place on file communication number 2025-285. Is there anything else on the question? Could commissioners please vote? And would anyone like to change their vote? Clerk, please record the vote.
11 yea, 0 nay.
11 yea, 0 nay, motion passes. Moving to item number 31, communication number 2025-309, Russell Larry, Commissioner District 5, and John Morgan, Commissioner District 1, requesting Council of Commissioners authorization for Butte-Silver Bowl Council Chairman to send a letter to Montana DOC asking for clarification of their intentions regarding the possible locations of the women's prison in Butte, Montana. Commissioner O'Leary.
Thank you, Chief Executive Gallagher, members of the Commission. The main reason I segregated this is so we would have an opportunity to speak amongst ourselves on the council this evening. I've had lots of discussion with constituents over the last couple weeks about this and their concerns about the potential siting of this facility at the old Acadia property on the south end of town. The reason that we're asking for concurrence on sending this letter is to give both the public an opportunity to comment on this plan and to make it clear that to the state that we want plenty of time for the public to talk about this before any plans are solidified. We've had quite a bit of public comment this evening, and I really appreciate that. I want to thank everybody who came forward, and I'd like to ask you to stay engaged in the process as it progresses. But just wanted to have a conversation and hope folks have some interesting things to say.
Thank you, Commissioner O'Leary. So we'll open up for commissioners. Commissioner Morgan.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive. There's nothing more that I have to say to what Commissioner O'Leary just mentioned. The only thing that I want to make sure that the public is aware of is, yes, we have started to receive a lot of communications, a lot of emails. As we sit here tonight, there is nothing before this body to approve or disapprove of the jail relocating here. And I want the public to know that there's no vote that we can take tonight or as of right now, anything on our agenda in the next coming weeks that we're going to take action on this. So it really was just a call to try to get this out into the open, get it out into the public, and let people start to, talk about it. Gave the public an opportunity to come up and voice their concerns. I think it's good to have the concerns being spoken, ahead of time rather than the same night that maybe a vote would be taken. And that really was the concern that we had, why we, went together on this letter. And I think it'll be a good process. We'll just have to wait and see what the state ends up doing. But I would say keep contacting the commissioners, but keep in mind that there's nothing today that we're voting on. And I'm not sure what vote that will be in the event if we even get to vote, just because of the process that it's going through with the land that they own, that kind of stuff. There's a lot of unknowns here, so just keep that in mind as you start to think about this process.
Thank you, Commissioner Morgan. Commissioner Fisher, and then Commissioner Shea.
Thank you, Chief Executive Gallagher. I know a lot of these people weren't here, but a couple months ago, one of these people out here mentioned it, but we had the people come here from the Department of Corrections, and they gave us a pretty good presentation about what was going on. And I have no problem with sending out a letter now, but it seems like by sending a letter at this time, we may be a little premature because we're poking the bear. I'm not sure the state even knows what's going to happen next. I mean, there's Boulders in the running, there's a lot of different communities in the running. And we as commissioners right now are getting some emails. I haven't got too many from my district because I'm not that close to it out there. But the thing about this, we're getting emails and things, but we really have no dog in the fight right now. We as commissioners can answer your emails and say whatever we want, but we really have no say right now. It's in the state's hands. So everyone that wants to be opponent or proponent for it, they still have a right to speak their mind, but we're kind of just visiting about things that we have no say about right now. Until the state makes a decision where they want to put this and how they're going to fund it and what they're going to do, we might just be poking the bear a little bit. And I'm not sure we're the most popular people in Helena. So, sometimes you get a negative reaction, like, if they don't like Butte, maybe they're going to make us have a president that we don't want. But right now, I think we got to keep an open mind on this. And if we oppose it, we oppose it. If we get some people that are proponents of it, let's have the conversation needed. But right now, to send off a letter telling them that, we've got 35,000 people in Butte and we've got, 400 or 500 of them wanting to say no, I think we've got to open this up to an open conversation with both sides. I mean, say what you want about CCS and the pre-release. They've been good in Butte. They've been good to Butte. Butte-Silver can't always be the number 4 or 5 employer in Butte with 500 some employees, Without the hospital, Northwest Energy, and a few of these other companies in Butte, I'm not saying I'm for the prison or against it, but I'm just saying that let's not get too premature in starting to say all these things, because we've run off some businesses in the past that a lot of people in town didn't voice because they felt like they were getting shut out by the naysayers. So I'm just opening this up for conversation, and I think that we should let this process play out a little bit. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Fisher. Commissioner Shea.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive. I don't have a problem poking the bears. I mean, that's kind of just, maybe it's not always good, but obviously, I'll poke the bear all day. I greatly respect Commissioner Fisher, and I know his intention is to get more conversation so we can really solidify what we believe the position of the community will be. When I first was elected, I had a mentor who was another elected official, and what she told me was that I had two jobs, and one was to vote on SHIT, and the other one was to take a position, even if it's something I didn't have to vote on. So I think it's good for us to ask the state. What I don't want to see the state do, and we've seen it from this administration a lot, is to come in and blindside communities, blindside taxpayers, blindside marginalized groups of people. They're pretty good at that. And I don't want to see them blindside the people of Butte. I want to see us send a letter and eventually take a position, take a formal position as a group and vote on that, what the council's position is going to be, so every district can be represented by each one of us, and each one of us can vote per our constituents' wishes. So that's my wish. With all due respect to Commissioner Fisher, I do believe that he's truly has good intentions of opening up the conversation so we can really make the positions of the citizens known.
Thank you, Commissioner Shea. Commissioner Mankins, and then Commissioner O'Neill.
Thank you, Chief Executive Gallagher, and I would have to say thank you all for being here tonight that spoke up for this and about the prison. I would have to believe that everybody there's several people, Commissioner Fisher brought up that people that live down there, I think we only had one representative that somebody that said that they were a neighboring of that particular area, and that would probably Commissioner Callahan. So I don't agree with you so much, Commissioner Fisher, on this. I think we do need to make a stance on this. And when it comes to when Commissioner Shea talked about what she does for her constituents, I ran on that same platform. I am representing you in your district, representing you in your district. So if that's the vote, and I believe in that vote, that we should not have a women's prison. And I'll just come out and say it, I believe that that is. And if something else in my district feels differently, then those emails do have to come to us commissioners. But right now, it is overwhelmingly, and with the people here and with the emails, nobody wants a prison here. And I think we do have to do this letter, and I'm appreciative that Commissioner Morgan and Commissioner O'Leary have put something together and put this on tonight's agenda to get people aware of it and to continue to, hopefully you all out there listening, to continue to write letters. Continue to write the letters if this is what you do not want in our community. So please continue to do that out there. And if you're listening out there, just continue to do it. Everyone, if that is the way you feel, it's pretty easy in today's society to get and put all the commissioners' email, send a letter. I think that'll be something that will hold great value moving forward in this decision from the state, and hopefully the state will hear from us. And I'm with Commissioner Shea. I'm not afraid to poke the bear either. We just have to make a stance. I don't want to be someone to throw something down our throat that we don't want. So thank you all. And thank you all again for showing up tonight.
Thank you, Commissioner Mankins, Commissioner O'Neill, and then Commissioner Anderson.
Thank you, Chief Executive. Definitely appreciate Commissioner O'Leary and Commissioner Morgan for getting a letter together. Definitely support it. I think it's good that we attack this early. Definitely, I'm definitely would publicly say I'm not in favor of the women's prison coming to Butte. I think we have other things we can get 100 jobs for. If not, we're doing good. I think it's instead of let's be proactive and attack and get our stance out there. And if they don't like us for that, then I guess I'll put it here anyway and we'll live with it. And I'd rather let them know that I would imagine there'd be more than the majority of the people, I can't imagine, wouldn't want this. We just have better opportunities to come forth. There's plenty of better places to put a prison, so thank you for letting me talk.
Thank you, Commissioner O'Neill. Commissioner Anderson.
Thank you very much, Chief Executive. In regards to the letter, it's just simply saying we're getting a lot of comment. We are. There's a lot of concern in our community. There is. And we're respectfully asking and believe it's essential for ample opportunity to engage with the proposed plans and any decision. I think that's what we owe the community, and I think that's what the state owes us. We're the decision-making body. Goodkin said when he came here that he wanted input from the community. Well, we're getting input, and our job is to represent the people. He doesn't have time to listen to everybody who spoke tonight and everybody who's sending us emails. So this letter is giving us the opportunity just to do our job. And it's doing it so in a nice way. As far as poking a bear, I don't really think it is. Personally, I'm a very big guy, but I'm a little bit slower than I used to be. And I am afraid of poking bears. I saw one once in person. It was very, very big and very fast and very, very scary. That being said, most of the politicians in Helen are like me. They're kind of old, fat guys who don't get along very good. So you can poke me all you want to. You're not going to be very scared of the outcome. Believe you me. So I'm not afraid of upsetting a bureaucrat. I think they should be pissed off, and quite often. So with that being said, it's a great opportunity, and I will echo everybody's sentiment tonight that I don't believe this is in the best interest of our community. I want to see everything about it. It could be, if we located it somewhere else in our community, it could possibly work out nicely. Maybe throw it in Divide or over by Opportunity or somewhere far away from any of the other areas. And I'm pretty sure I just pissed off quite a few people in those outlying communities. But the Callahan's going to yell at me now for that. But anyway, there's a great opportunity. It's something that does need to be done. And it's not NIMBYism. It's people concerned about their community. It's people who are concerned about their way of life. It's people who are concerned about very many variables that go into all of these decisions. I represent Uptown Butte. I will admit that CCCS, because it was brought up quite a bit, has done numerous great things for Butte and for the people of Butte. One of the great things it did not do was help generate a lot of business in the Uptown area. I know an awful lot of people who were afraid to come up here because of the reputation it had. And I am afraid that that perception will trump reality if Butte does become a prison community. I'm afraid it would turn into a deer lodge. Like I said, it might be good. There might be some things really good about it. There might be some bad things about it. From the sounds of it, I'm the only person who received any positive feedback with it. I have a few friends who work in security and are guards at the prison, and I think they would welcome the opportunity not to have to travel so far for work. But that being said, it does put a lot more pressure on the state. So there is an awful lot of factors that need to go into looking at this. And I hope that Director Goodkin is honest and open about his
statement that he wants to be where the community wants him. So I think that this just gives us the opportunity to speak more so on the community's feelings with this, and I think with that, they will opt for a different location. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Anderson, Commissioner Shea, and then Commissioner Healy. Okay, Commissioner Healy.
I too just want to thank everybody for showing up. I've gotten more constituents who feel like you do, and I also will state that I feel like you do. I have a slogan: I want to see starlights, not prison lights. For the people who live out there in the country, I mean, or who see the prison lights even in Deer Lodge. You know, I wouldn't want that in my neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Healy. Commissioner Shea.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive. One thing I forgot to say when I got on my soapbox, because sometimes I get sidetracked when I do that. The state is a public entity, a government agency. They are required to provide opportunity for public comment as well. I don't know where they're going to announce it or how that public participation, what that looks like. I will tell you that other than the few that I got today, but I try to keep up on them, the emails that come to me, I reply to those folks and let them know that they should email their concerns to governor@mt.gov and to the administrative assistant for Mr. Gutkin. Her name is Megan. I have that as well. It's meghan.brewer@mt.gov. Those were the only emails that I could find. I couldn't find a spot on the state website to actually submit public comment. It may not be that it's at that stage yet, so I don't want to say that they're doing anything wrong. They just probably haven't gotten there yet, but keep your eyes out for that. And they're obligated to act in the best interest of the state too. Everything that they're doing is with taxpayer dollars and whatnot. I'm sure that they don't want to lose their workforce in Deer Lodge by driving all of the Butte employees there. And I hear that the idea that people who are from Butte who work in Deer Lodge would rather work in Butte. I'm not insensitive to that fact. I just think that can't be the whole picture. So I would encourage everybody to, in addition to the comments you're sending to me, I am forwarding them. I would ask you to send them directly. And for the record, of the emails that I have sent to those two email addresses, I have not received any response.
Thank you, Commissioner Shea. Is there any other public comment? Commissioner O'Leary. I shouldn't say public comment. Any other commissioners?
Thank you, Chief Executive Gallagher. I guess at this time I'll make a motion to concur and place on file communication 2025-309.
We have a motion and a second to concur and place on file communication number 2025-309. Is there anything on the question? Commissioner Fisher.
Thank you, Chief Executive Gallagher. I guess my question is, as I said, I'm not a proponent or opponent. I just think we need open conversation on this with a little more input from the state, which I think the public would have been very interested in hearing what they told us in March or April, whenever it was here. But by approving this, I guess it's a unanimous, all commissioners are signed. I've never seen a letter come from commissioners to a state entity like this where all commissioners are say this was different and there's 3 or 4 commissioners against. I guess if the votes for, I guess all commissioners are on, and if anyone wanted to go opposite, your name gets sent on the letter. That to me seems like a little bit of a slippery slope to do that, but I'm not opposed to it, and I'm going to vote for it, but I'm just saying that the letter's pretty vague in what they're asking for, and I'm fine with that, but I think down the road that we get a response from the state, it's going to take some time, so thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Fisher. Commissioner Morgan.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive. Just to clarify one thing, so what we've asked is that I can sign the letter as the chairman of the council to forward to the state. So it's on behalf of the Council of Commissioners. It's not going to list each individual commissioner individually. It's just as a council as a whole. And if it is a majority vote that allows me to sign the letter, it's going out on behalf of the council. I could send him a personal letter of Commissioner District Number 1, to give my stance, but to me, it's not as forceful unless it comes from the chairman with the support of the whole council, or support of the majority of the council that allowed me to sign the letter to forward it on.
Thank you, Commissioner Morgan. Any other comment? Seeing none, could commissioners please vote? And would anyone like to change their vote? Clerk, please record the vote.
11 yea, 0 nay.
11 yea, 0 nay, motion passes. Moving on to item number 34, communication number 2025-312, Bill Anderson, Commissioner, District 10, requesting Council of Commissioners to have an RFP to be sent out for the fiscal year 2024 Economic Development Mill Levy Grant, and to be opened on June 18, 2025, and reviewed by the Economic Development Committee. Commissioner Morgan.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive. There was just one word in the suggestion that I did not have in this, and it should be to concur to allow Commissioner Anderson to publish these RFPs, to start collecting them and hold it in the Committee of the Whole pending the receipt of those. So, simply put, I just want to make a motion that we concur with Communication 2025-312 and hold in the Committee of the Whole until the June 18th, 2025 date.
We have a motion and a second to concur and hold in the Committee of the Whole until the June 18, 2025 meeting. Is there anything on the question? Could commissioners please vote? And would anyone like to change their vote? Clerk, please record the vote.
11 yea, 0 nay.
11 yea, 0 nay, motion passes. Moving on to Section 3, ordinances and resolutions introduced to judiciary. Oh, yes, we have to act on the two. I forgot about that. We have the two communications that were added to tonight's agenda, 2025 okay. Commissioner Morgan.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive. We do have two communications that we did add with the emergency suspension of the rules. These communications have been forwarded to the commissioners on their email accounts, but in light of public awareness, if this body's okay, I would like to just read the letter that we will be taking action on. This communication is 2025-313. It's to Chief Executive Gallagher. It's in regards to the molten water treatment plant filter replacement project. There is a change order number 1. The letter reads, "Ladies and gentlemen, the Public Works Department Water Utility Division is requesting council's approval for the Chief Executive to sign change order number 1 to the contract 24-588 for the molten water treatment plant's filter replacement project. This change order adds 45 days to the schedule and $105,584.63 in material costs. The additional amount is due to an error in the bidding documents that did not point out potable water lining of pipe. This amendment is to include the lining and the pipe needed to complete the project. The increase of 45 days to final completion is due to the lead times for materials." Before I make a motion, I don't know if Public Works Director Neary has anything to add on this communication.
Thank you, Commissioner Morgan. Director Neary.
Thank you, Chief Executive Gallagher. Commissioners, the reason we asked for the suspension of the rules is the timing. We'd have to wait 2 more weeks. They have to order the supplies once we give the approval, and that is solely the reason we asked for the suspension of the rules. And to be transparent with Commissioner Fisher's talk about not knowing about this, we submitted this today. Karen did hers right and did it yesterday, but ours was today. So it was last minute. We're waiting for, there was a restocking fee that the design engineer actually, there was another $29,000 that would have been on this, but the engineering firm took that off because it was their mistake. And that's where we're waiting till today to find out if that went through. That's why we waited to get this in today.
Thank you, Director Neary. Commissioner Morgan.
Thank you, Chief Executive Gallagher. Just at this time, I would make a motion that we concur with Communication 2025-313 and place on file.
We have a motion and a second to concur and place on file communication number 2025-313. Is there anything on the question? Commissioner Thatcher.
Thank you, Chief Executive Gallagher. Director Neary, so they're eating the restocking fee, but not the entire fee, even though it wasn't our mistake?
Commissioner Thatcher, Director Neary.
Chief Executive Gallagher, Commissioner Thatcher, if it would have been, we needed this to have this project go through, it was an error that they left out of the bidding documents. It would have been in the bidding documents anyway. There's sufficient funds in this project to take the $105 hit. We would have done it if the bidding documents were right anyway. And we have been in, Director Hassler's been in direct conversation with all of this, and we're good with this, yes.
Thank you, Director Neary. And to be clear, $105,000, not $105.
$105,000, yes.
Correct. All right. Thank
A
you.
lot easier at $105.
Right.
One thing too, while I'm up here, I'm sorry, I forgot on my presentation, I forgot to thank Jennifer Kearns, Angie Mulligan, Karen Hassler, and Danny
For pulling the data.
Woods, yes, for getting all the information for me.
Thank you, Director Neary. So we have a motion and a second to concur and place on file communication number 2025-313. Anything else on the question? Could commissioners please vote? And would anyone like to change their vote? Clerk, please record the vote.
10 yea, 1 nay.
10 yea, 1 nay, motion passes. Moving to communication number 2025-314. Commissioner Morgan.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive. Same as before, this communication was added to tonight's agenda. It's addressed to the Butte-Silver Bow Council of Commissioners, council members. Attached for your information is a contract amendment between the Montana Department of Public Health and Human Services and the City County of Butte-Silver Bow. The following is a synopsis. The Council of Commissioners is asked to authorize a contract amendment between the Montana Department of Public Health and Human Services and the City County of Butte-Silver Bow. This amendment is for our mobile crisis response program services and operational costs not otherwise covered by Medicare or Medicaid reimbursement, including but not limited to community-facing education, outreach, and engagement services to increase the utilization of the mobile crisis response providers by individuals in crisis. This contract amount is up to $362,185, and the contract terms are January 22nd, 2024 to June 30th, 2026. If this contract amendment meets with your approval, please concur and place on file and authorize the Chief Executive to sign. Should you have any questions or need further information, please feel free to contact me at 497-5041 or kmalogney at bsb.mt.gov. Thank you for your time and attention. Similar to that, I would ask if Karen has any questions or any.
Thank you, Commissioner Morgan. Director Malakny.
Thank you, Chief Executive Gallagher, members of council. So this also was a timing issue. The Board of Health passed the draft version of this contract back in April, and if there were no changes to the draft contract, when the finalized version came through, then we would put it through DocuSign up to this body. The finalized version came through. If we had waited till the next meeting on the 18th, we were afraid that it would not go through the signing process that it has to go through for here and then up at the state. So we didn't want to take the chance of losing the 300 and some odd dollars and change for mobile crisis. So.
Thank you, Director Malakny. And I will say this is something that the community's been working on extensively and a need of the community, and this mobile response team is critical, keeping people out of the emergency room and out of our jail. And so this funding is critical, and I know that suspending the rules at times sometimes seems like, we do it too much, but on this project itself, I think it is a critical path. So any other questions of commissioners or comments? Seeing none. Commissioner Morgan.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive. At this time, I'll make a motion that we concur with communication 2025-314 and place on file.
We have a motion and a second to concur and place on file communication number 2025-314. Is there anything else on the question? Could commissioners please vote? And would anyone like to change their vote? Clerk, please record the vote.
10 yea, 1 nay.
10 yea, 1 nay, motion passes. Moving on to Section 3, Ordinances and Resolutions introduced to judiciary. We have 3 of them. Please note those. Moving on to Section 4, Ordinances and Resolution. For second reading, we have item number 1, Council Bill number 2025-02 and ordinance number 2025-02. Clerk, please read the caption.
An ordinance creating Chapter 2.73 of City County of Butte-Silver Municipal Code entitled Business Improvement District Board of Trustees, establishing and providing for an effective date herein.
Commissioner Morgan.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive. I move to place Council Bill number 2025-02 on second reading and passed, having been deemed fully read at length.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please communicate.
I'll amend that motion to include ordinance number 2025-02.
We have an amended motion to concur and place on file, or to move to second reading, Council Bill number 2025-02 and ordinance number 2025-02. Is there anything on the question? Could commissioners please vote? And would anyone like to change their vote? Clerk, please record the vote.
11 yea, 0 nay.
11 yea, 0 nay, motion passes. Moving on to item number 2, resolution number 2025-226. Clerk, please read the caption. Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped one here. Item number 1, resolution number 2025-24. Clerk, please read the caption.
A resolution amending the budget during the fiscal year after conducting a public hearing at a regularly scheduled meeting of the Council of Commissioners in accordance with Section 7-6-4006 MCA, appropriating unanticipated revenue from the Environmental Protection Agency Environmental and Climate Justice Block Grant for the purpose of constructing the Butte Community Resilience Hub and providing for an effective date herein.
Commissioner Morgan.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive. I move to place Council Resolution 2025-24 on final reading and pass, having been deemed fully read at length.
We have a motion and a second. Is there anything on the question? Could commissioners please vote? And would anyone like to change their vote? Clerk, please record the vote.
11 yea, 0 nay.
11 yea, 0 nay, motion passes. Now let's appropriately go to item number 2, resolution number 2025-26. Clerk, please read the caption.
A resolution amending the budget during the fiscal year after conducting a public hearing at a regularly scheduled meeting of the Council of Commissioners in accordance with Section 7-6-4006 MCA, appropriating unanticipated revenue from the Multi-Path Program trust account proceeds and providing for an effective date herein.
Commissioner Morgan.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive. At this time, I'll make a motion that we place Council Resolution 2025-26 on final reading and pass, having been deemed fully read at length.
We have a motion and a second placing resolution number 2025-26 on final reading. Is there anything on the question? Could commissioners please vote? Commissioner Morgan. Well, you might be. And would anyone like to change their vote? Clerk, please record the vote.
11 yea, 0 nay.
11 yea, 0 nay, motion passes. Moving on to item number 3, resolution number 2025-27. Clerk, please read the caption.
A resolution amending the budget during the fiscal year after conducting a public hearing at a regularly scheduled meeting of the Council of Commissioners in accordance with Section 7-6-4006 MCA, appropriating unanticipated revenue from the Superfund Program trust account proceeds and providing for effective date herein.
Commissioner Morgan.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive. At this time, I move to place Council Resolution 2025-27 on final reading and pass, having been deemed fully read at length.
We have a motion and a second placing resolution number 2025-27 on final reading. Is there anything on the question? Could commissioners please vote? And would anyone like to change their vote? Clerk, please record the vote.
11 yea, 0 nay.
11 yeas, 0 nay, motion passes. Moving to item number 4, resolution number 2025-28. Clerk, please read the caption.
A resolution authorizing and approving the sale of a certain parcel of surplus parkland property owned by the city and county of Butte-Silver Bow, known as Public Park in Block 1, adjacent to the portion of Lot 1, Lots 2 through 6, a portion of 7, and Lot 11 of the Ramsey Town sit in the city-county of Butte-Silver Bow, state of Montana, and providing for an effective date herein.
Commissioner Morgan.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive. At this time, I move to place Council Resolution 2025-28 on final reading and passed, having been deemed fully read at length.
We have a motion and a second placing resolution number 2025-28 on final reading. Is there anything on the question? Commissioner Thatcher.
Thank you, Chief Executive Gallagher. Nothing on the question, just thank you to the Ramsey School Board, Ramsey Association, Principal Kellogg. The time you guys have put into this is above and beyond, and so I'm glad to see it all went through. And as a former Ramsey Ram, I look forward to the improvements and the safety, I guess mostly safety improvements that the students will face now in the future. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner Thatcher. Is there anything, other comments? Could commissioners please vote? And would anyone like to change the vote? Clerk, please record the vote.
11 yea, 0 nay.
11 yeas, 0 nay. Motion passes. Congratulations. Moving on to calendar and other meeting events. Please note the dates and times of those meetings. And next, we'll move on to any public comment on any item not on the agenda tonight. So if you'd like to come forward, state your name, address, and any item that you'd like to speak of, please come forward. Seeing none, I would take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, signal by aye.
Aye.
Opposed?